Hey, what's going on, y'all? So today we're going to talk about home equity line of credits versus, or HELOC for short, that's the acronym. HELOCs versus refinance with the pros and cons of each. All right. So they're very different things, but a lot of times people confuse them. So let's start off with a home equity line of credit, or HELOC, commonly referred to. What that is just taking a loan against the equity on your house. So to give you a quick example, a house that you owe $100,000 on and it's worth $200,000, you can borrow against the equity on that property. So you can borrow against that $100,000 that you of equity that you have on that property. Now, depending on the bank and the financial institution, what you could end up using is anywhere between 75 to 95% loan to value. And I say that because I've seen a couple, advertisements out there before of 100%, but I don't know anybody personally that's ever done it. And I've never done one home equity line of credit uh, that was 100% of the equity. That doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like you got to have some type of skin in the game. So, and just to give you an example of how that works is, like I just said, if you owe $100,000, the house is worth $200,000. That means $100,000 worth of equity. And then what happens is that, let's just say in this case, you can do 75% loan to value. All right. So 75% of that loan to value, if you're at 100 grand, would mean you can borrow up to $50,000 minus the expenses for actually doing the loan, right? So you might close and end up with maybe, let's just say $45,000. Let's say all your total closing costs is 5,000. Shouldn't be that expensive to close on a HELOC, but I'm just giving you an example, worst case scenario type. All right, so to close on a HELOC, you might end up spending 5 grand, end up getting $45,000 worth of equity out of that home. And the beautiful thing about a home equity line of credit is it's more like a credit card against your house, right? That's how I look at them, because you only pay interest and money on the money that you use. All right, and that's the big difference between the home equity line of credit and refinancing. Okay, so let's just say you get that line of credit, that home equity line of credit for $45,000. If you use 5 grand to replace the floors in your house, then you're going to pay money back on that $5,000. Versus if you do a refinance, when you go ahead and do a refinance, you're going to say, hey, I'm taking this money out, this equity out of my home, right? So same scenario, you know, you can do a refinance anywhere between 75% up to more like 90 to 95% loan to value. And when you do that refinance, let's just use the same scenario, same numbers. Let's say it's at 75%. You would refinance, you would get that $45,000 deposited into your bank account within 2 to 3 days after closing, and then that's your money, right? Now, what happens is your payment's going to change. So you're either going to have a second mortgage, or maybe you rolled it into your current mortgage, so they're going to give you a new loan. So maybe you're 5 years into your loan. Maybe you bought your house in 2018, and now it's 2023, and you have 5 years of payments history. Well, if you refinance, that cycle is going to start over with whatever terms you guys agree on, and then you're going to have a new payment amount. So maybe it was $1,000. You got that $45,000 out after all your fees, and now you're paying uh 1,600 bucks a month versus that $1,000 a month, just as an example, right? um yeah, man, so that is the big difference between a home equity line of credit versus a refinance. The big difference is how it pays out, right? Home equity line of credit, you basically go through your loan process, and you have a line of credit with the bank to use that money as needed. Versus a refinance, you are adjusting the terms of your original loan. You're taking that money out. You're taking that equity out of the property, right? You get that money. They deposit that money in your bank account within 1 to 3 days, and then your payment is going to increase. Whether it's going to be, uh, you can have a second mortgage, or they can refinance that initial mortgage, right? I've seen it done both ways. All right. Now, if you got more questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. This is Brandon G out. Peace.